This meeting is being recorded.
Apadamapahartaram dataram sarvasampadam lokabhiramam shriramam bhuyo bhuyo namamyaham. A warm welcome to all of you. So this is session number 14, which means we are in the 7th month of this yajnam. So this will actually be the end of the 7th month. So generally, they say that in the 7th month, in the mother's womb, the child actually is enlightened. That child actually sees or is enlightened about the Parabrahma or the Varanjyoti. Every child, irrespective of any classification, categories, or whatever it is, irrespective of everything, each and every single child in its mother's womb, it will have the vision, it will have that darshanam of Antaranga darshanam of that Paramatma or Paranjyoti during the 7th month. And this is the reason why the child cries when it comes out. Yes, of course, scientifically they say plenty of other reasons as well. Also, traditionally they have mentioned several other reasons, but this is the main reason. And one more reason is that it gets into Maya. It does not want to leave that behind. So since it is leaving that bliss, that ultimate bliss, and is coming into this Vaishnavi Maya, it feels being pushed down. That's why it cries. And back in those days, in the Sutikagraham, in the delivery room, it used to be dark. It used to be a dark room, unlike today's LED filled posh delivery rooms. It used to be a dark room, and if you remember correctly, they used to light a small lamp at one corner of that room. That is to denote the moment the child comes out of its mother's womb, the baby needs to see that light, so that it reminds that child that you have not, nothing to worry. Don't be alarmed. You can still get back and see your original form. So that was the small hint that used to be given to those children, those babies. And if we remember correctly, it is during the birth, and when a person dies, they still light a lamp. That tradition is still alive even to this day. When a person dies, they still light a lamp. Even though the person is dead, it is a reminder for the rest of us. Then this is the only thing that remains with us, nothing else or nothing more. So anyway, with this note, we have to begin where we left in the last week. Last week, in fact, we did not even begin. We discussed about plenty of other things. So it's like carryover from the previous week. But it required a small break, was required because it was such an important junction in the entire story that it required some sort of breather. So after a little space of breather, I think we can carry ahead and can move ahead now. Now, Hanuman has finally reached Lanka. He thinks a lot about the task that is in his hand, the greatness, the responsibility that he is carrying. He's not just carrying the responsibility of Rama or Lakshmana alone. He's carrying the hopes of several other monkeys as well who have followed him. Because Angada made it very clear that if we fail to go back empty-handed, Sugrīva is not going to spare any one of us. Because he was aware of Sugrīvāgnya. Sugrīvāgnya was that, if you come back empty-handed, you will be hanged by death, hanged till death. So that was Sugrīvāgnya. So maybe that is the reason why even to this day, the administrative Kannada uses that word Sugrīvāgnya for an order that cannot be changed, that needs to be followed. If he fails in this mission, then everything is lost. There is no room for failure in this particular mission. And he's alone. He has no clue who Sīta is or where Sīta is located. He needs to find her. Now, he was also thinking, even if I succeed in finding out Sīta, what are the chances that the entire army is going to cross the ocean? He says that there are only 4 people who can actually cross the ocean and fight, apart from Rama and Lakshmana. So that is 6 people against an army of Ravanas. So that's a battle-tested army, and we have to stand in front of him. Only 4 of us, excluding Rama and Lakshmana, 4 of us. Vāliputrasya, Neelasya, Mama, Rajñascha Dhīmatah. Sugrīva, Hanūmān, Neela, and Vāliputra. Vāliputra is Angada. Only these 4 people are capable enough to cross the ocean, even if we succeed, even if I succeed in locating Sita. But nevertheless, I must focus on the task that is immediately in my agenda. The immediate task that was in Hanuman's agenda was to find out Sita, whether she is alive, whether she is there or not. Who knows, Ravana is a Mayavi, and he uses delusion, he uses magic. So he might have moved her to a different place. So he needed to find her out. Then what he did was, he cannot go out and roam around in his normal form. Like, how he is actually, he cannot roam around in that normal form. He needs to make himself in such a way which will not draw attention of the public. So what he did was, Vrishadamshaka matrotha babhuvadbhuta darshana. So he became the size of Vrishadamshaka. Damshaka means a fly that sits on the cattle. That small fly is roaming around the cattle, and he made himself into that tiny form so that nobody could recognize him. Now you have to imagine how good gatekeepers were back in those days. He was this small. He was just a small fly, and Lankini was not having him. She stopped him. He was ready to enter in that small form so that nobody can recognize, but Lankini recognized. So Valmiki writes that it was not even, we are giving the name Lankini because of the famous line that Valmiki uses. Nagarim Rakshasendrasya Sadadarsha Mahakapihi. First of all, he saw how Lanka looked. It looked magnificent from the outside. He has not even entered. He has not even started to describe the details of Lanka. He's only seeing it from an outsider's perspective. From an outsider's perspective, Lanka looked magnificent. Now, when he wanted to enter, Nagari Svena Rupena Dadarasha Pavanatmajam. So the city herself took a shape. The city itself took a form of a feminine. The city itself took a feminine form and appeared in front of Hanuman. So that's the actual line. That's why we are calling that lady as Lankini. So the thing is, every city, however, every fort, every kingdom that used to be back in those days, they used to have a defense system. And that defense system was so natural to them that the city herself protected against intruders. Now, this is a very interesting part, because that kind of an idea itself has become very rare these days. There is no country, there is no piece of land that can protect itself nowadays. Especially when we speak in this context, in today's perspective, there is no city, there is no kingdom, there is no place that can protect itself, or that can actually scare away the intruders, that can take a check on each and every intruder. We have been experiencing ever since, I guess, 60, 65 years it has been. So we see how infiltrators are treated in our country, whether they come from the northern part of India or the eastern part of India. The northern part people are generally called by the T word, the terrorists. Whereas, the eastern intruders, infiltrators, they are given Aadhaar card. They are made one of our own. So that's the sad state of political affairs these days. Now, why am I making this point is, starting from now onwards, you will see a grand contrast appearing between Ravana and Rama. So at the end of Yuddha Kandam, when that famous Pattabhisheka Sarga is narrated, that's the only place where Valmiki describes how Rama Rajyam was. How was Rama's Sushasanam? How was Rama's administration? what a great statesman Rama was, what a great administrator Rama was. He talks about in very brief shlokas, in a very brief manner, like maybe 20 to 25 shlokas. That's all he spends, not more than that. But he drops some hints starting from now about Ravana's administration, about Ravana's ability as a king. If you hear some people make speeches about Rama or Ramayana in general, and in particular about Ravana, they would always come up with this notion. I think you all must be familiar with this kind of a storyline that where Lakshmana was asked by Rama, after Ravana was defeated, Rama insisted Lakshmana to approach Ravana and learn Rajadharma from him. Utter nonsense. It can never happen like that. I mean, first of all, Lakshmana was not a poor fellow, and he did not need any education, any formal education or not even informal or extracurricular, or in some sorts of advanced knowledge about Rajatantra or Rajadharma. That too from Ravana. Ravana was a failure, a mega failure as a king. The seeds of it were sown. Some shades of Ravana's misadministration, misdemeanor as a king was shown in Aranyakanda, if you remember, where he did not consult anyone. He did not wait for anybody's counsel. He decided everything on himself, by himself. And he thought that kidnapping Sīta is the right way to do it. So that kind of impulsive nature for a king is always going to be end very badly. So in the same way, if we can find any one similarity between Ayodhya and Lanka, it was Lanka. I wouldn't say similarity. This is again a difference. The difference is that Lanka needed herself to protect. When Lanka appeared in the shape of a female and protected the entire country, whereas Ayodhya did not even require such kind of a form to protect itself, because Ayodhya itself is the meaning of the word Ayodhya itself is invincible. Na Yodhya, Yodhum Shakya Yodhya, that which can be defeated by an army is called as Yodhya. That which can never be defeated, that which is invincible, the invincible city is called as Ayodhya. So that's one difference that we can find in their capital city. Moving on. She looked very brutal and very ugly. It was very scary to look at the feminine form of Lanka. That is just a depiction of how the city is. The city herself, if the city has to attain a shape, then it would mean it will represent the entire city. It represented like that. And then she asked Hanuman that, Kathayasva, tell me, why are you here? What is your purpose of visit? Visa check. So visa officers, checking why are you here and all those things. So Lankini started asking that, why are you here? And she says that Nashakyam Khalvayam Lanka Praveshtum Vanaratvaya. It's impossible for you to enter, even though you are in the form of a small fly, even though you have made yourself appear to be so small, it's not possible for you to enter Lanka. Because this is protected by me, this is taken care by me, and it is guarded by Ravana's army. So you cannot enter. Oh, just a moment. Also mentioned Ayodhya is comparison to human body, if I remember correctly. Yes, absolutely. Ashtachakra Navadvara Devanam Pur Ayodhya. That's the actual line that appears in Vedas. Ashtachakra, 8 chakras, and Navadvaras, 9 openings that we have in our body. Therefore, this body itself is also this body can also be called as Ayodhya. But the literal meaning of the word Ayodhya is that which cannot be penetrated, that which cannot be defeated, that which never falls prey to intruders. That is the literal meaning of the word Ayodhya. It is used in a different sense in Vedas. The body is called as Ayodhya because they want to bring that resemblance, the reflection. They want us to focus on some points. There is also a theory which says that the entire Ramayana, if not as it is, I mean, in whatever form we are seeing these days, maybe not in this particular form, but the characters of Ramayana, the important aspects of Ramayana, for example, the word Daśaratha, Rāma, Sītā, Vasishtha, these are very familiar across Vedas, which is true. But just because these names appear frequently does not mean that it has a story. It need not be. They might be saying, they might have used these words in a different sense as well. So we need to keep an open mind here. In the perspective of Veda, the word Ayodhya means this Shariram. When it comes to the literal meaning of the word Ayodhya, it means the invincible city. It's just trying to make a point that there is a city which is protected by itself. When we hear this word, or when we hear this line, it appears as if can it get any better than this? So Lanka might be here, but there was another city called as Ayodhya, which was not even accessible to intruders. So you can see the difference. All right. And then Hanuman responded to Lankini. He says that, why are you being so rude to me? I just want to visit the city. I'm a visitor, visitor's visa, H1B1, I guess. So, I'm just visiting. I have heard so much about Lanka, so I wanted to see how Lanka is. So you don't have to be rude to me. So she says that, see, I am placed here by the orders of King Ravana. I am actually the city Lanka. Aham hi nagari Lanka. Swayameva plavangama. I am not the one who takes care of this city. I am the city. It is the city that is speaking to you. Why do you want to enter me? Is the actual question that she is asking. The city herself is asking, why do you want to enter me? And then it says that, she says that Sarvatah Parirakshami, I protect this land, this entire kingdom. And then he understood that this is fair enough. So she wants to know why I want to enter. Again, he said that Drakshyami Nagarim Lankam Satta Prakara Toranam. I just want to see how Lanka is. I have heard that there are plenty of parks and recreational places, some forests with evergreen fruits and flowers. So I just want to visit them. But she was not buying him. She was not buying any of these words that Hanuman was telling her. So she again asked, if you want to really enter this city, you have to defeat me first. Those who cannot defeat me cannot even enter into Lanka. Forget about using your force or bringing your force and defeating Ravana. In order to enter Lanka, Lanka itself is a fort. Lanka, the city itself will provide resistance for anybody to enter. So when she said that you have to defeat me in order to enter Lanka, he agreed. Okay, fine. If this is the case, if there is no way I can enter Lanka without defeating you, then so be it. I am going to defeat you. So then, Stri cheti manyamanena nati krodhas vayankritah. He thought that since she is a female, he did not make himself too angry because he did not want to kill her. He just wanted to hurt her. There's a difference between hurting and when you hurt that person in a duel, it means you have showed them their place. Aukat dikhana. It's like, this is where you stand. You stand defeated in front of me. You cannot triumph me. You cannot be victorious over me. So why don't you let me pass? So this was the only intention of Hanuman, and he hit her in such a way that she must realize that Hanuman is stronger than her, and Hanuman should enter the city, and the city succumbed then and there. Tato vai bhrisham udvigna lankasa gadgadaksharam. So her voice broke down and she began to speak. Say that Prasida Sumahabaho Trayasva Harisattama. May you please. And May you be pleased and don't hurt me. I accept my defeat. Aham tu nagari lanka swayameva plavangama nirjita aham toya veera. You have won me. You have defeated me. I accept the defeat. Since you have triumphed over me, I think the time has come for this great city to fall down. Because Lord Brahma, Swayambhu Vihita Satyaha. Swayambhu is Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma had given a word that the day when a monkey defeats you, remember that is the day when the downfall of Lanka begins. So she had remembered that. Lanka remembered that, and she said that the words of Lord Brahma, Bhagavan Brahma, has come true today. So you may enter. And I am very sure that you are here for Sīta. You may have not told me why you are here, but I understand that you are here for Sīta. I have been looking at some of the omens, bad omens that have been appearing constantly in the city ever since Sīta stepped in. Now here there might be a question here. I know whether people ask me or not, I'm going to raise that question and answer. The question is, Sīta is a very pious woman, isn't it? She is also considered as goddess, an avatar of goddess Lakshmi. If goddess Lakshmi, in whatever form, in whatever way, if she comes into a city, shouldn't the city be more prosperous? Shouldn't the city get more prosperous? But ever since Sīta stepped in Lanka, Lanka's graph started going down. They started experiencing plenty of bad omens the moment Sīta stepped in. Yeah, of course, she has been taken against her will. That's true. Sīta has been taken against her will. But even then, when people say that it doesn't matter how you bring the god, you see how people bring Lord Ganesha during Ganesh Chaturthi. Do you think Lord Ganesha enjoys Oo Antava song being played when he's brought from the market, brought to home, placed somewhere? When people conduct orchestra, when people play these obnoxious songs in the praise of Lord, in the name of Lord, do you think he's willing to listen to all those songs? I don't think so. Why can't we find out those bad omens? Or are we getting any bad omens which we are neglecting, which we are turning a blind eye towards? That's a question that we need to ask ourselves, because we need a special eye for that. We need to keep an eye whether those bad omens are here or not. I'm making this point because you are all aware that when we do this Shodashopachara Puja to any Bhagavan or to any form of deity or God, the first and foremost thing that we do is Dhyanam, which we have forgotten. We don't know what is Dhyanam. For us, Dhyanam means uttering a shloka that describes the deity. That is not Dhyanam. Dhyanam is what happens within us when we have envisioned, when there is an enlightenment of the deity in our heart. That description should come out naturally. Since nothing is happening naturally, we are simply following the footsteps of those people who had that enlightenment, who actually had the darshan of that particular deity. Now, we are relying on someone else's shoulder. We are leaning upon their shoulders. And after that, once we have seen that, once we have that darshanam of the deity, we are calling upon that deity to our place. So this is the reason why we keep that puja griham, where we perform all the pujas, clean. If a guest is supposed to come or supposed to enter our house, don't we clean our house? And even though when the guest goes away or when the guest is not here, we may keep our home as dirty as we want. But when somebody is visiting us, we want everything to be perfect. It should look spick and clean. So in the same way, we keep that puja griham all cleaned up. And that's when we do that avahanam. Once we see God inside, what is the question? Once we see why we need puja. Bahye tvam samyak archaye. Because it sets an example for the rest of the world. That this is how we must treat the deity. Or then what is the reason of, or how will you ever understand the word or the line, Matradevo Bhava, Pitradevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, and Atithi Devo Bhava? How do you elevate Mata, Pita, Guru, Daivam, or Atithi? Daivam instead of Atithi, Daivam we can use Atithi. So how do you elevate these four to the level of God if we do not know how to do that puja? Okay. All right, fine. So the question is, when you bring any devata against their will, it will start giving bad omens. That's what I wanted to just mention. Because Sita was brought against her will. Hence, the bad omens had already begun in Lanka. And Lankini herself admitted that ever since Sita has stepped in, Sītā-Nimittam Rajñastu Ravanasya Duratmanaha Rakshasam Jaiva Sarvesham Vinashas Samupagataha. The end is near. For not only Ravana, but also for all the Rakshasas, because of Sita. Vidhatsva Sarvakaryani Yani Yani Vanchasi. So she gave her permission as well as her blessings to Hanuman. May you enter and may you be successful in your venture. So now, since he got his gate pass, now he enters Lanka. Now begins the search. Where do you usually begin the search? Hanuman was in no mood to waste time because he was not there on the picnic. He was not there for the purpose of picnic. He was there for a specific purpose and he wanted to fulfill that purpose. So he begins his search from Ravana's Antahpuram, straight to the core of Ravana's home, Ravana's palace. So he enters Ravana's Antahpura and what he sees is a different picture. I'd never experienced that. He sees everything except Sita in Ravana's Antahpura. Now, there is a beautiful description of Ravana's Antahpura, which I'm not going to deal in detail because it's not necessary for the story. And I'm just going to give you some hints. If you really want to know how great or how good Valmiki is when it comes to describing things. Mostly these days, poets means describing. They are very good at description of each and everything. And each and every poet owes a debt to Valmiki because Valmiki shows the way. So he explains very beautifully, he describes the entire Lanka, the Ravana Antahpuram, Ravanasya Antahpuram in such a beautiful way, and he enters. He sees them, but he's saddened, he's disappointed. Hanuman is immensely disappointed because he cannot find Sita there. Now, his initial thought process was Ravana would not keep her elsewhere. He would definitely want to keep her close to him so that he could keep an eye on her. But that was not the case here. So he was very disappointed. He searched the entire Antahpura and he could not see Sita. He could not find Sita. Okay, fine. Maybe he's a king. He must have plenty of other houses. It's not like, like us, only one house for one person in one life. No, that's not how the kings lived. So he had plenty of houses. He said maybe he has given a separate house for Sita. He must have placed her in a separate house. So he started searching for all the other houses of Ravana. Even there, he could not find Sita. I'm just summarizing it in very short words. But it's an entire chapter is dedicated for this, how he searched other houses and how they were. And then from one place to another, he thought that maybe not in Ravana's place, Ravana's houses, he must have kept Sita in someone else's place. Why don't you take care of her? She will be more safe here. Nobody would suspect me. In that way, he has attained, yes, well, how should I put this delicately? He was in a way where he can easily access information and he could not be accessed by anyone else. That's how he was. So yes, he was in the same form that he had attained previously before he entered Lanka. He went from Ravana's place to Kumbhakarna's house, from Kumbhakarna's house to Vibhishana, Vibhishana's to Mahodara, Virupaksha, Vidyujjihva, Vidyunmali, the list goes on. Vajradamshtra, Shuka, Sarana, Indrajit, Jambumali, Rashmiketu. It's a huge list. All the important people of Ravana's army. He went to each and everyone's home and he searched each and everybody's house. Nowhere could he find Sita. Did Lankini not convey the message to Ravana that an intruder is coming inside? No, just a basic question. No, she did not. She could not. See, she was not a person per se. It was the city attaining the human form, the feminine form. So basically, it was like, the city has accepted the defeat. Even before Rama's army, or Rama brought Sugrīva's army to the shores of Lanka, the city already fell down. City had already accepted the defeat. It's very symbolic in nature. It's not something that we have to focus as a conversation that happened between Hanūmān and a lady named Lankini. It was as if the city itself surrendered to Hanūmān. It could be symbolic because we are dealing with a very ulterior level poet. So when he said that he hurt Lankini, when he hit her, he must have just stormed on the land, the entrance gate. He must have simply stormed on that land. It could be like that. We don't know. We don't have the visual aid for this. So it could be in any form. But the tatparyam out of it, the summary is that the city surrendered herself. That's the summary. I hope it was clear. Okay. And then he went to see Ravana's Pushpaka Vimanam, his prized possession. Ravana had forcefully taken it from Kubera. It was a gift bestowed upon Kubera. Ravana went up to him, and Kubera is a very peace-loving guy. He does not want any violence. So when Ravana went up to him, Ravana wanted to fight him. Kubera did not offer any fight. He said, whatever you want, you take them. He said, no. My supervisor, my PhD supervisor, had narrated a story. There used to be some thugs back in those days, some Naxalites and all those people. Chambal Valley, it's notorious Chambal Valley. A story from Chambal Valley he used to narrate us. These people, these thugs, they had a rule that if you do not hit them and take their money or take their belongings, you have not earned it. For them, earning means if somebody surrenders to them, they wouldn't appreciate it. They would want to hit them. They would want to hurt them and then take their belongings, because they did not understand the concept of surrendering. For them, there is no such thing called as surrender. It's only about power. They understood only power. And for them, power means even if they resist, we fought them valiantly, bravely, and then we took their money. It showcased their courage. So even after somebody surrendered every belonging of theirs, they used to hit them and then steal them from them. So this is the story. So sometimes this happens. So Ravana belonged to that category. Yes, he is Ravana's brother. Yes, Ravana's brother is Kubera. So Ravana belonged to that particular category, where even when Kubera offered that you may take this, he did not want to take it away as a gift from his brother. He wanted to fight for it. He defeated him. He hit him. He made him accept the defeat. On the battlefield, and then he took it. So Hanūmān went and saw the Pushpaka Vimanam, and this is the 7th sarga. And the 8th sarga of Sundarakanda, very briefly, in 8 shlokas, the 8th sarga, 8 shlokas, describes how Pushpaka Vimanam was. There's only one shloka that I wanted to mention it, because if there are any people who are technically oriented, who are into technology and all these things, they would get a fair idea from this description, they may get a fair idea about from this description. It says that natatra kinchit na kritam prayatnataha. It was effortless. The Pushpaka Vimana looked effortless. It was not like they have placed something with immense effort. They have added something with immense effort. When you look at a gigantic thing like a plane, like a jet, it appears as if each and every component, they have worked very hard to assemble them. But it looked so pleasant on the eyes that none of it appeared to be built with such hard work. It appeared to be so simple. That's the intended meaning here. So this clearly shows the skill of the builders. And just pointing hints. I'm not saying that this clearly states that there were fine, what is that? Mechanical, not mechanical engineers. Some engineers who used to build, aeronautical engineers maybe, who used to build planes in such a way. I'm not making such kind of a superficial statement. All I am saying is, we can understand when we read this kind of a line, nakinchit kritam prayatnataha. Nothing looked as if some effort has been put. When we do something, when we build some machine, it showcases all our effort. It's not effortless from our end. Why is it not effortless? Because we have not understood. We are not deriving the design from within. We are assembling. There is a difference between deriving and assembling. We are assembling from all the acquired knowledge, from idhar udhar, from everywhere we have collected the data, and then out of it we have started to build something. But back in those days, they used to envision everything. When we envision something, it becomes natural to us, and the design comes naturally. So that's the intention. That's all I wanted to make the point here. And then natatra kinchin na mahargharatnavat. Even though it looked effortless, there was not a small space, not even a small area of that Pushpaka Vimanam, which was not studded with pearls and stones. I just imagine that. It looked effortless. You look at this contrast. He says that it looked effortless, and at the same time, it was studded. There was not a small area that was left out without being studded with pearls and stones. Nate Vishesha Niyataha Sureshwapi. And those kind of intricacies that he found in Pushpaka Vimana cannot be even found in the Vimanas of the Devatas, in the Vimanas of the gods themselves. They are considered to be the richest ones, but even their planes did not have this much of fine work. And then Natatra Kinchin Namaha Avisheshavad. So this is how he describes. And there are plenty of other shlokas as well, but there's just one shloka on how Valmiki describes Pushpaka Vimana. He says that, fine, Ramana had a special place for all his extramarital affairs. So Antahpura in a palace meant that only for his queens, if he had many. So apart from his queens, he had plenty of other women as well, each and every day. Was Pushpaka Vimana originally Indra's, and it was snatched by Ravana? No, Kubera's. It was gifted to Kubera. So he snatched it from Kubera. In some Puranas, we get the details of how Pushpaka was built. There is Bharadwaja's Vimana Shastra is very famous. I think some IITs have already worked on that. They have derived some formula and all those things. Some designs are taken from Bharadwaja's Vimana Shastram and Vaimanika Shastram and all those things. So plenty of work has already gone on in that field. But I don't think they must have observed this small fact, that effortlessness in a design. Fine. Moving on. Yahi Vaishravane Lakshmihi Ya Chandre Harivahane. So Valmiki says through Hanuman that whatever the glory was present in Vaishravana. Vaishravana is Kubera. Kubera is the richest man. So the richness of Kubera, the richness of Mahalakshmi, the richness of Indra, all of it combined together was present in Ravana's place. That's how rich Ravana was, and that's how glorious Lanka looked. Just a small insight into Valmiki's description, because I'm not going into detail, just a small description on how we can fathom or we can imagine through the eyes of Valmiki. Then he started looking for Ravana's Panagriham, bar, special bar meant for only Ravana and his people. So he went along that bar and he searched, and he saw so many women, countless women. He says that Sahasrashaha, thousands of women were there. After a while, Hanuman lost the count of women, because his job was not to count the women there. And then comes the most important dilemma that he faces, which none of us would ever ask or come across that kind of a dilemma, I guess. But Hanuman did come across such kind of a dilemma. And after this, he goes to the place where Ravana was asleep. And he saw him. Hanuman, for the first time, saw a sleeping giant. Ravana appeared like a mountain when he was asleep. Ravana appeared like a mountain. And Valmiki describes that hundreds of women were on Ravana's chest. You can imagine the size of Ravana. I'm just using this analogy so that you may be able to imagine how huge Ravana was. Because when he sat, he looked like a mountain. When he was asleep, there were people as if some small mountains, small hill ranges were accompanying on this huge land. That's how Ravana appeared. And he was studded with Indranila manis. And his chest had a mark. Every warrior loves a mark from their battles. And he carried a battle mark. It was not by Indra's Vajrayudham. I will come back to that dilemma. It's not yet that time. So he's still looking at Ravana's grandeur, as well as the company he kept. I won't miss it. It's very important. So the company that Ravana kept, thousands of women thronging him, and when he saw that, very good. If Ravana was like this, you can only imagine how Kumbhakarna would have looked. There is no doubt when Kumbhakarna first time, when he stepped onto the battlefield, Sugrīva's army ran away. That's the only time when the entire Sugrīva army ran away. They said, no, we don't want to fight. He said, you keep your war. If you want to fight, you fight and die. We want to live. Please let us go. Because there is a word, there is a line, which I will again point out during that Kumbhakarna episode. The monkeys in Sugriva's army, they felt that this is a man-made machine. This is a machine built by Ravana to consume us all. Valmiki specifically uses the word yantram. The monkeys saw Kumbhakarna as an yantram that can eat monkeys at will, because he was eating them at will. And how much bibhatsa is there, nobody can imagine. The way Valmiki describes it, you have to go through that original text to understand the bibhatsam, the disgust. There is a rasa in disgust as well, because it is in kavya. Only a poet can make even the disgust sound blissful and beautiful. Aesthetic. Oh, my good friend is not here today. The aesthetic friend is not here today. Only the poet can make even the disgust look aesthetic. Fine. Let us come back. So Ravana appeared like this. He was, as I was mentioning, he was carrying a wound from the war, from the great Devasura Sangrama, Devasura battle. And in that battle, you remember Indra's vehicle, Airavata, not this Mysore-Bangalore bus, the original Airavata. That original Airavata had this dantam, like tusk, and it had actually rammed into Ravana. Only the likes of Airavata can ram into Ravana. You can imagine, we can only imagine how huge Ravana must have appeared for that Airavata to feel that this is nothing but a hill. And usually when the elephants get very angry, they run into a solid thing. They want to ram into a particular thing. That's the nature of elephants. There are only two poets who have understood the nature of elephants entirely, completely, and have described them. The first one is Valmiki. The second one is none other than Kalidasa. You must read his Meghadutam, where he makes a point that Vaprakrida Parinatagaja Prekshaniyan Dadarasha. He says that the cloud appeared to be like an elephant involved in Vaprakrida. This is called as Vaprakrida, where the elephants use their tusk to take something out and put it on themselves. So Airavata wanted to ram into Ravana and put him on itself. It was so full of anger. And during that time, he had a mark here on his chest that was appearing. And Valmiki describes it looked as if it was studded with pearls. His chest, he was built with some pearls, like a necklace made out of pearls. Brilliant description. Okay. And then he saw, Hanuman saw Ravana's wives, other wives, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, plenty of them. And finally, he saw the one whom he thought that he has found Sīta. Actually, in Hanuman's mind, he had already found Sīta. In fact, it was a mistake. It was none other than Mandodari. Because out of all those ugly looking women, only Mandodari appeared to be fit enough to match the descriptions of Sīta. She had that glow about herself. She had that varchas about herself. She had that kanti about herself, that pleasantness about herself. She is a great character. The first time when Mandodari sees Rama, she does not see a tapasa, a person standing in the form of a tapasvi. No, Mandodari sees Sakshat Sriman Narayanam when she sees Rama for the first time. That shows that she was not only a pious and pure lady, but she was also into Antaranga Sadhanam. Because if you do not have that much of depth in Yoga Sadhanam, you wouldn't be able to find out the true form, true self of the person standing in front of you. I have heard this from yogis, that they can identify what we truly are when we appear in front of them. It's so easy for them. Mandodari was at that level. That's why she is worshipped even to this day. And she is one of the 5 women whom we remember. Panchakam nasmaren nityam mahapataka nashanam. Even all the mahapatakas, all the great sins that we have committed, we may commit, shall be washed away when we remember these 5 names. So Mandodari is one amongst them. Tara, Mandodari, Sīta. 3 of them. I think Arundhati is also added here. Ahalya, sorry, not Arundhati. Ahalya, Draupadi, Sīta, Tara, Mandodari, Tatha. So Ahalya is from Ramayana. We have already seen the meeting between Ahalya and Sīta, right? Ahalya, Sīta, Mandodari, Tara. At least one of my biases is now confirmed. You will not think that my bias towards Tara is not unasked for. It has some evidence. This is your evidence. Tara is the greatest ever female character according to me. So because she's one of them, she's the elite. Okay, fine. Moving on. Now Hanuman saw Mandodari, and there is a beautiful shloka which is used generally across the literature people, especially in Sanskrit. In Samskrita, whenever there is a discussion on literature, this is one of the most famous shlokas that we generally use. The shloka is Aspotaya Masa Chuchumba Pucham Nananda Chikrida Jagau Jagama Stambhanarohan Nipapata Bhumau Nidarshayam Swam Prakritin Kapina. What did Hanuman do when he thought he had found Sīta? But he had not. He had only seen Mandodari. And looking at Mandodari, he thought that he had already found Sīta. What he did was, it may make you very surprised. He says that Aspotaya Masa, he started making sounds that only monkeys can do. Aspotayamasa. Chuchumba pucham. He started kissing his tail because tail is their most important organ. So he started kissing his tail. And then Nananda, he started dancing. He started singing. Jagav, Chikrida, he started playing. And he started running. Stambhanarohan. He started jumping from one pillar to another pillar. And diving from the pillar. And he started diving into the ground. All because, and he shows that Nidarshayan Swam Prakritim Kapinam. He showed his true behavior as a monkey. Success at last, according to him. It was short-lived success. Avadhu yachatam buddhim. This is the difference between a normal monkey, ourselves, and Hanuman. He did not arrive at conclusion. He wanted to test it. He wanted to recheck it, re-examine it. And he was re-examining. Avadhu yachatam buddhim. So he removed whatever conclusion he had arrived at. And then he got back to his senses. And now he gives his description. Why is this lady not Sita? You have to come up with the reason, right? You need to present the reasons why this lady is not Sita. He says that Naramena Viyuktasa Swaptumarhati Bhamini. See, Sita cannot even get a minute's sleep when she is away from Rama. Do you think Sita had slept even for a single second when she was away from Rama? Impossible. How did Hanuman arrive at this conclusion? See, this part everybody will tell you because this is actually written. The second question that I asked, the second part that I asked, nobody will ever tell you. How did Hanuman arrive at this conclusion that Naramena Vyuktasa Swaptumarhati Bhamini? Because they are Pati and Patni. They are reflection of each other. He had seen with his own eyes what Rama has gone through. Rama had not slept. Hanuman has seen him from his own eyes that Rama has not slept. So if Rama has not slept, then Sita definitely would have not slept. You see this conclusion, where does it land us? It lands us that important place where we have to admit that Rama and Sita were a great couple, were Adarsha Dampati. If you go to any marriage, oh yes, time for question answers, yes. I will end this with this particular line. If we go to any marriage and you see the bride and groom, Vadhu Vara, we really need to start using indigenous words, bride, groom, all these things. Fine. So when we see that Vadhu and Vara, you must have seen people giving their blessings, their Ashirvadam, like Shiva Parvati, Lakshmi Narayana. Now you should be both. May you both be like Lakshmi Narayana. May you both be like Radha Krishna or Sri Krishna Rukmini, or maybe like Arundhati Vasishtha, or even these two fellows, like Shiva and Parvati. Nobody tells them that may your love be like Sita and Rama. They don't, because they think that it's a tragedy. It ends in tragedy. No, it doesn't. Actually, it doesn't. It is one of the strongest love that we can actually find between Sita and Rama. Okay, time for question answers. Now, if you have any questions, shoot away. We have to find Sita. We have not yet found Sita. And after finding Sita, we will have a conversation with her through the eyes of Hanuman. Oh, there are some chat boxes. I think all those were answered, I guess. Yeah. How Kumbhakarna? Yes. Yeah. Any question? Yeah. Please, madam. Yes, go on.
Yes, sir. I'm learning Mithila painting. So in that, we make kobar. That is, it is for, we make a painting. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah. I can hear you now. Yeah.
So we make a painting called kobar for the wedding, in which all auspicious signs are put. in Mithila painting.
Okay.
But as you rightly said, the Dampati that we put is Shiva Parvati there.
There you go. I mean, it's not
Even
wrong.
in folk,
It's
yes,
not wrong
even
to
in
put Shiva and
folk
Parvati.
paintings,
Yeah.
that's where we put Shiva Parvati.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, whenever we find any painting, any icons, and I'm learning new terms today because I've been working with some archaeologists. So they say that there's iconography, and according to them, all these pictures, sculptures, and all these things, they denote something about all these things. But whenever you find Rama, you don't find either you find him alone, a single picture, or you find the entire parivaram of Rama. Along with Lakshmana, Sītā-Hanūmān. So like this, you don't find, very rarely you find Rama and Sita. So that's generally the conclusion. Okay. Why Gandhari is not in the list of Panchakanyas? She was not such a great woman, my friend. She was not. She was a bad mother. She blinded herself to all the ill doings, evil things of their children. What kind of a mother does that? Isn't it? Yeah, she was a great wife, a dutiful wife, but not a great mother. So that's why. I've also heard that people, yeah, I have heard the same thing. Just by naming your girl daughter, I mean girl baby, or if you name your daughter as Sita, she would not go through any hardships. She
So
would
they
be more
name that Sia is very popular nowadays.
Yeah, that's because it is fancy. They don't know that Siha means, Sita. They think that it's very fancy. That's all. Okay. Sir, you mentioned about the Lanka city protected itself as a Lankini. How was Ayodhya as a great city protected itself? It need not require to protect itself. That's what I was trying to say. See, when you have to protect yourself, it means that you are vulnerable. You are vulnerable to attacks. Whereas Ayodhya, on the other hand, was impregnable. It was invincible. It cannot be defeated. It cannot be intruded by anyone. So it was like, it is going to stand still for several ages to come. So that's the difference between a city which needs to protect itself and a city which is invincible. It's just a par above than Lanka. We say Sītā-Ramābhyān Namaha during Avahana in Kalasha. Yes, of course. Sītā-Ramābhyān Namaha. That's true. The meaning of word Lanka. Oh, that we need to see. There must be some meaning of Lanka. I will just look into it and get back to you. It's a very good question. There must be some meaning of Lanka, which is not mentioned in Ramayana. If it was mentioned, I would have definitely given you the answer right now. But we need to search some Vachaspatyam or Shabdakalpadruma, some sources to find out what exactly the word lam here refers to and ka refers to and all these things. So I will get back to you on that question. So Sītā-Ramābhyān Namaha, yes, of course we say that. They are part of this. Swaha Viśvāmitra, there are plenty of things. People have considered it. I said that in Prayoga and all, we have considered it. The sages don't make any difference between Sītā-Rama and Lakshmi Narayana. It's the people who consider that it is inauspicious to wish a Vadhu-vara to be like Sītā-Rama. It's people's mindset, that's all. Now, Shankari Devi Shakti Peethas, no mention of such Shakti Peethas. These are all tantras, tantras came after all these things. I'm not saying that there's no room for tantra in Ramayana. There must be some mention of tantra, but as far as I know, as far as I have seen, I have not found any hints related to tantra. See, tantra is basically Shrutipatha Galitanam Tantra Marga Pradishtaha. Those people who do not follow the Vedika Marga, it is tantra is for them. So tantra should be avoided at all time. If there is no other way, then it's like agatika gati. There is no other way left. Then you can opt for tantra, not as a first choice. Tantra does not start. Tantra starts on the bench. Tantra is always benched. We celebrate Sītā-Rama Kalyanam Rama only. Yes, of course. Of course we do. Sītā Kalyanam is very famous, all thanks to Tyagarajar. Sītā Kalyana Vaibhogame. So there is one way of looking at Ramayana through the eyes of Tyagaraja. That needs to be done. Like he sees Ramayana, he sees Rama in a very different way, in a very peculiar way. For him, Rama is everywhere. Rama is everything for Tyagaraja. And also Mayamma Sītamma, those famous compositions of Tyagaraja, he sees Sita as divine mother. Tyagaraja is in a different level. So the parampara of this Kalyanotsavam and all these things, we owe it to sages like Tyagaraja. I call him a sage. He's a Muni, he's a Rishi. Tyagaraja is a Rishi. There's no doubt about it. Okay, you were saying about auspiciousness of Sita being in Lanka. Inauspiciousness, not auspiciousness. Bad omens. When Sita entered Lanka, there were bad omens. Like how we bring Ganesha on Ganesha Chaturthi and do all the wrong things, just like that. Google Guru says Lanka means island. Of course it says. But that's not the only meaning of Lanka. There must be some meaning for that. Why Parabrahma word is used with only Rama and Krishna? It is used for Narasimha as well. Narasimha Agacha Parabrahma Pucha Svecha Swacha. Muthuswami Dikshitar. If I mention Tyagaraja and my tongue did not utter the name of my idol Muthuswami Dikshitar, I might not get a good night's sleep if I did not utter Muthuswami Dikshitar's name. You have to go there. It's called Narasimha as Parabrahma. So there is no bias here. There is one big question here. Has been there in my mind for a long time. What happened to Ikshvaku Vamsha? Did it end just like any other Vamsha? I have seen it some serials that Vasishtha says Ikshvaku Vamsha never end and will continue. If this is true, somebody from that Vamsha should be alive even in Kali Yuga. Is this correct? Absolutely correct. There are people who are descendants of Chandra Vamsha, Surya Vamsha, Yadu Vamsha, Bharata Vamsha. All those Vamshas are still intact. They are still there. The descendants are still there. We may have forgotten their roots, that's all. But there still is. See, we do Abhivadanam. While doing Abhivadanam, Angira Savarhaspatya Bharadwaja Trayarshaya Pravaranvita Bharadwaja Gotraha, so and so Gotraha, and all these things. We proudly claim ourselves to belong to some particular Gotra. What is Gotra basically? Gotra is nothing but our sage, our ancestor, our Mula Purusha. When we say Bharadwaja Gotram, we mean that our ancestor was an aeronautical engineer, Bharadwaja. He was one of the Saptarishis. We never feel that proud, isn't it? We say Viśvāmitra Gotra, Kaushika Gotra. They don't even know the story of how Kaushika became Viśvāmitra. Is there a better story than that? He's Nabhuto na Bhavishyati kind of story. Viśvāmitra story is. There is no second instance of such kind of a thing. Fine, Vasishtha Gotra. There are so many rishis that we claim that we belong to this Gotra. We are not proud of that Gotra. So yes, there are descendants. It has not ended. It shall not end. It goes on. It goes on and on. It's just that we have forgotten our roots. That's all. Why Harisattama word is often used to. Hari means kapi. Hari means monkey. So Sattama is the greatest of all monkeys. So Harisattama, greatest of all monkeys. Monkeys are commonly not seen during night. You have never visited Banaras then. They are seen day and night. They are everywhere. So it's, the monkeys who have settled down here, see what happened is, these people were left out. Some people were left out in Kishkinda to take care of the kingdom. So they never tasted the war. They never fought. So the monkeys who have remained here, they are very calm and composed in nature. But those monkeys who, along with Rama, traveled back to Ayodhya and settled in and around the northern part of India, they are ferocious because they were veterans of a war that defeated the mighty Ravana army. So I'm just joking. That's not the case, but monkeys are seen during night as well. There is no such thing as they are not seen. All right. There are Why is it only men recite Abhivadaye? Even women can say Abhivadaye. Abhivadaye in Sanskrita simply means I salute, I bow down. That's the meaning of word Abhivadaye. Oh, if the question is related to why women do not utter the Gotra and all, yeah, got it. Why Gotra and all? One person is already uttering, so it's sufficient. It's sufficient. But it doesn't mean that women should not know about their Gotra. They should know about their Gotra. Why? Because he can remember all those things. and he can establish the connection to his ancestors, unadulterated connection. He can remember the entire history in one shot when he says that. Not that women cannot do, but there is something that only women can do and men cannot. So, why don't we focus on that one? We are not saying that women cannot remember all these things. They cannot establish any link between their ancestors till now. They can do, they can very well do. But they can also do something else, which no one else can do. See, Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati, Shaktah Prabhavitum. Prabhavitum Shaktah Bhavati. And there is another shloka from Bhagavad Pada, Shankara Bhagavad Pada, where he says that Chita Bhasma Lepo. Look at Parameshwara. He smears on his body the Chita Bhasma, not the machine-made Bhasma that we wear. The Chita Bhasma. And then Garala Mashanam. He eats whatever he finds. Visha. He drinks Visha. He drinks poison as his food. Dikpatadharaha. He is a Digambara. Jatadhari. He keeps a jata. Kanthe Bhujagapatihari. Everybody wears a necklace, he wears a snake. Kanthe Bhujagapatihari Poshupatihi. He is called as the lord of all Poshus. Kapali. He carries a Kapala. Bhutesha. And his followers are all Bhutas. Even then, Bhajati Jagadishaika Padavim. He's called as Parameshwara, not simply Ishvara. He's called as Parameshwara. Why do you think he is getting all this reward? Or why has he gained all this status? Bhavani Tvat Panigrahana Paripati Phalamidam. It's all because he took your hand in the marriage. It's because Parameshwara took Bhavani's hand in the marriage that he is elevated to that level. Otherwise, who would remember a Kapali? Do we remember a person who carries this Kapala and roams around? Nobody cares about that person. He is cared in this entire world because Bhavani is there. That's the status of a woman. That's what a woman does. He makes a man a man. What else can I say to please you? All right. Is there any other question which I have missed? Is there any mention in Adbhuta Ramayana that Sīta was Ravana's daughter? Oh, no. No, these are all some crooked things that they have written about Ramayana. Sīta was not Ravana's daughter. He should have treated ideally her as his daughter, which he did not. That's another thing. But she was not his daughter. She was nobody's daughter. Remember, she was found, she was unearthed. She did not belong to any, she did not come from any mother's womb. That shows the level of purity that she had. Right, I have heard from someone saying that Sīta was wearing sacred thread which is worn during Upanayana. Is this true? No. There is no mention of that in Ramayana. Can Lanka in form of women can be related to Grama Devata? Absolutely. Absolutely. The idea of Grama Devata comes from that. Okay. If there are no more questions, then we can go ahead with some of the story as well. Jata is leaving hair or binding it. No point in leaving the hair loose. There is no mention of leaving your hair loose. Only two people left their hair untied. Chanakya, because he had taken an oath that as long as he shall not kill Navanandas, he shall not tie his hair. Another one is Draupadi. Only two people. And all these painters, all these artists who paint our gods and goddesses with the loose hair, find them all, make them stand in a line and shoot them all, because they have no idea. They have misrepresented our gods and goddesses for a very long time. Do you think a goddess looks like this? You should see the dirty pictures on the YouTube. When they play that Aigiri Nandini, they make Kali look like that. Kali doesn't look like that. See, when I genuinely feel that Kali must appear in front of them, and they must die as soon as Kali appears in front of them, because they cannot withstand the Kali, that actual Kali. She looks so rigorous here. You should read her description. Ruh kaamp jata hai. The entire body shivers and shakes when you read the description. Imagine when you see Mahakali. And these painters simply paint anything. They have only one color. They think that blue is the color of all the gods. It is not the color of all our gods. They have misrepresented it for so long that it, when the same lie is repeated again and again and again, it starts to appear like truth. Now, remember, I have used the line, it starts to appear like truth. It doesn't become truth. It can never be the truth. Okay, what about Shiva? I did not understand, how he should be represented. He has no shape at all. If you want to understand Shiva's Swarupam, read Kumara Sambhavam. You'll see what a fine description he says. Nivata nishkampa iva pradipaha. Beautiful. You should read Kalidasa. Kalidasa describes Parameshwara. He was sitting in his samadhi. Manmatha enters the Kailasa, and he enters the premises of ashrama, and he sees Parameshwara for the first time. About Jata. Okay. Jatadhari, he had bound it. Otherwise, you use the same logic. If his Jata was open, then how did he hold Ganga? Does it make logically sense to anybody? If the hair is loose and Ganga, who came in that force, can she not go away if the hair were open? It simply doesn't make any sense. Jata means have to bind it. No point in keeping it loose. Okay. Either it should be bound or it should be in Kannada they use the word turubu. I don't know the English word for it. It should be they do some hairstyle. The hair must never be left loose. That's the point. Whether it is morning, evening, night, whatever the time is, it should never be left loose. That's all. Whether it is man or woman, it doesn't matter. It should never be. All right. If there are no more questions, then we can move ahead. Kumar, he's interested in Kumar Sambhavam. Yeah. I know this is a small detour, but he explains. In Kumar Sambhavam, he explains how Parameshwara looks. You should read that Kumar Sambhavam, 5th Sarga. Yeah. Not, yes. Not for Turubu. Yes. There should be at least some knot. Yeah, thank you. There should be at least some knot. Okay, fine. So if there are no more questions, we can proceed. The big dilemma is coming up. Now, then he says that na bhoktum, not only Sita must have not slept, but na bhoktum, I don't think she would have eaten anything, which is true again. Napi alankartum, she would have not decorated herself, which is almost like impossible for any woman. If you ask a woman not to decorate herself for 10 days, for one day, they would shoot you. They would kill you. How dare you ask us to do all such things? It comes naturally to them. And when they do decoration, when they decorate themselves, they look good. Okay. And few things needs to be done by specific people, not by everyone. All right. And then she would have not even tasted a single drop of water. Nanyam naramupasthatum suranam upajeshwarim. Even if it is the Lord of gods, even if it is the King of gods, Indra, she would never abandon Rama. Even if Rama is not physically present in front of her, she would never ever abandon Rama. So, nahi Rama samah kaschid vidyate tridasheshvapi. So there is nobody who can match the level of Rama. I have seen Rama. If Rama loves Sita that much, and Sita must also love Rama back, and she can never even imagine to be with another person other than Rama. And I have seen Rama there. Ergo, this is not Sita. And you see how he arrived at a conclusion that why Mandodari is not Sita, because he is not Rama. That's all. As simple as that. This is not Rama. Fine. Anyeyam iti nishchitya. So he was not concerned whether this is Mandodari or someone else. He did not inquire. He did not probe. He did not give an ear to other people's conversations, searching for the information. Some people are there who are more interested in someone else's life. Hanuman was target oriented. So he said that, anyayamiti nischetya. So he said, she must be someone else. I'm not concerned. I'm not worried about her. Then he again started searching Sita. He saw hundreds and thousands of women. He went through them. He saw each and everybody's face, because he need to recognize who is Sita. And how will you recognize Sita if you do not go and see their faces? And after this, here comes the dilemma. I'm very sure none of us would have even thought that this kind of a dilemma could come. But only Hanuman could come up with this kind of a dilemma. He said that Evam sarvam asheshena Ravanantapuram kabihi. He searched the entire Ravanantapuram several times. Kintu, he could not find Sita. Idam khalu mama atyartham dharmalopam karishyati. This is the dilemma. I think this has let me down. Dharmalopa has happened in me. What does he mean when he says dharmalopa? He is not supposed to look at paradara. Dara here refers to wife. Paradara means someone else's wife. You are not supposed to look at somebody else's wife. I mean, forget about talking to them, sending them friend request. You are not even supposed to look at their face. That's the level of dharma that he is talking about. He says that paradara varodhasya. He questions himself that I did not only watch their face, see their faces. I actually saw them sleeping. What have I done? What have I committed? Have I done anything wrong? Now, this is the time to self-examination, self-evaluation. How to conduct self-evaluation? So this is the question that you need to ask to those people who come up with the fancy line that self-love, self-respect. Now, love, respect, pakakidi. Now, you keep them aside. First, to teach them what is self-evaluation and self-examination. This is self-evaluation and examination. What Hanuman is doing or what Hanuman is going through. We never ask the tough questions to ourselves, do we? If the question is tough, then we pass it on to someone else. We take only the easiest questions to ourselves. I have self-evaluated. I think I did good. No, that's not self-evaluation. He asked himself this toughest question. Dharmalopa. Jagama mahatim shankam. He got into a big dilemma. For what? Dharma sadhvasa shankitaha. Because he was scared that he has committed a sin. He was scared that he has committed something that he was not supposed to. Now, how did he evaluate himself and how did he arrive at the conclusion that he did not commit any mistake? Let us see. Nahi me paradaranam drishtir vishayavartini. Underline the word vishayavartini. There are people who look at someone else's wife for the sake of looking for what they are searching. That is wrong. Vishayavartini, Indriya. I mean, it is their Indriya that is actually dragging them towards other people's wives. Ayanchatra maya drishtaha paradara parigraha. But I have seen these people, these women. And then he comes to one conclusion. Kamam drishta maya sarva vishwasta ravanastriyaha. It is true, I cannot deny the fact that I have not seen these women. I have seen the wives of Ravana. I cannot deny this fact. Fact is a fact. If the court worked like how it does in today's world, then technically Hanuman should be punished. Isn't it? Because court relies on facts. This is a fact. Isn't it? This is how twisted our court system has become these days. Only relying on facts. Fine, here you go. But he says that, he comes up with the conclusion. He says that, Natume manasa kinchit vaikrityam upapadyate. But I don't feel any vikara, any disturbance in my mind. This is the sort of line, this is the sort of judgment only a person like Hanuman can pass, not all of us. And then he makes this beautiful statement, Manohihetu sarvesham indriyanam pravartane. It is the mind that initiates all the sense organs to involve in the outer world, to involve in the materialistic world. So, shubha shubhasu avasthasu, whether it is good or bad, whether we are indulging in good things or bad things, the thing that is initiating us into good or bad things is nothing but the mind. It is the mind that initiates us. And my mind is uncorrupt. My mind is not corrupted. End of the argument. Hence, I am not corrupted. He had a shanka, he had a doubt whether I am corrupted, whether there is some error in my system. He ran a test. He ran a test and he found out that there are no errors. It's not error 404, it is no error. There could be no error. Why could there be no error? Because manohihetu sarvesham shubha shubha pravartana. It is the mind that takes us into all these things, and my mind is pure. And hence, I have not committed any sin. There is no corruption in my mind. And then he again, this is one decision that he has arrived at, conclusion that he has arrived at. Now he needs to substantiate it. Look at the substantiating evidence that he gives. Sīta is a nari. Sīta is a female. And female needs to be searched amongst females. You don't search for a female amongst men. That would be foolishness. So he says that striyohi strishu drishyante sadasam parimargane. Isn't that common sense that you have to search for a woman amongst women, not amongst men, no, not amongst other creatures, because that would be foolishness. Hence, I have not done anything wrong. This is substantiating his decision. Now look how he arrived at a conclusion. I just want you to observe the process. And if you ever come across Abhijnana Shakuntalam, there is a famous line in, I think the 4th act or the 5th act, sorry. Yes. In the 5th act of Abhijnana Shakuntalam, Kalidasa simply takes this golden leaf out of Valmiki and makes it his own. Only Kalidasa can do this. The same incident, not in the 5th act, I think in the 1st act, yes, 1st or 2nd, I have forgotten the exact location of this line. Dushyanta sees Shakuntala for the first time. Now, as soon as he sees Shakuntala for the first time, he says that she cannot be a tapasa kanya. She cannot belong to ashrama. Why? Because aryohi yadaryamasyaam abhilashi me manaha asamshayam kshatra parigraha kshama. The statement, look at the statement. Dushyanta says that no doubt, without a doubt, Shakuntala is worthy enough to be made wife by a kshatriya. Kshatra parigraha kshama. She deserves to be taken by a kshatriya. Why? Because yad aryamasyam abhilashi me manaha. Me aryam manaha. Because my uncorrupted mind got interested in her. And he trusted his mind that much. Because he knew he had his mind under his control. So if my mind is getting involved in her, it can only mean that she is not a tapasa kanya. She does not belong to the Brahmana Varna. She belongs to Kshatriya Varna, because otherwise my mind would have not gotten into her. Look at the confidence. And we can simply use this confidence, this kind of technique, this kind of siddhantam everywhere. That's why I keep telling that for Dushyanta, there was only one Shakuntala. For us, every girl that we look at is Shakuntala. That's not how things work, you know? Because a man thinks the same thing about every woman that he sees. I think she is the best fit for me. That's how he feels. And look at the corruption, how much corrupted our mind is. And this is taken from Valmiki's Ramayana, where Hanuman arrived at this conclusion. Okay. Now he had another doubt now in his mind. Maybe I have searched everywhere for Sita. If I am not able to find her, it could mean only one thing. What is that? Sita must be dead. She must have sacrificed herself. If she were alive, she must have been found by now. I have searched everywhere, literally everywhere, not once, but twice, thrice, so many times. Why can I not find Sita? If I am not finding Sita, then she must not be alive. Okay, the general conclusion that many people, many researchers arrive at, many intellectuals arrive at. If it is not, if I am not able to understand, then it must be false. So Sita must not exist. Sita must be dead. And then, fine. And he says that Anirveda Shriyo Moolam. I should not be disheartened. I should keep on trying. So let me search again. I must have missed a true sign of a true researcher who never quits. Okay, then he starts again. He searched every nook and corner of Ravana's palace. He could not find her. Finally, he says that without doing Mangalam, without the invocation, nothing is possible. Now, Hanuman accepted it because he was in such a force. Remember, he said that I am going to Lanka like an arrow shot by Rama. So I'm not going to stop. Finally, he settled down. He calmed himself down and he said that no, it is not going to work like this. He sat down. Udatishtan Mahabahur Hanuman Marutatmaja. Before that, what did he do? Samuhurtam ivadhyatva. He contemplated, he meditated, underline the word muhurtam dhyatva. And chinta grathitendriya. He understood that no, I'm too much tensed. I'm result oriented now. I need to calm myself down and find her in a proper way. So what did Hanuman do? Most famous shloka. This shloka is generally used as one of the mantras. This shloka is considered as a mantra in some parampara. Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya Devyai Jatasyai Janakatmajayai Namostu Rudrendra Yamanilebhyah Namostu Chandragni Marudganebhyah. So he bowed down to all these deities. First and foremost, Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya. My salutations to Rama, to Lakshmana, Janakatmaja, that is Sita, and then to Rudra, to Indra, to Yama and Anila. Who are they? Dikpalakas. And because he needs to search her in all four directions. Within Lanka, he needs to search in all four directions. So he's saluting them. And then Namostu Chandragni Marudganebhya. Marudganaha. They are the ones who actually are in the form of the nature. And then Agni, fire, and Chandra. Then he remembered Sugrīva cha Marutihi, Dishasarvas Samalokya. And then he took, he had calmed down now. Now he took a look, an aerial view. And then Ashokavanikam Prati said, oh, this place I have not searched yet. How did I miss this? And if you have been into research, you would come across this. It doesn't matter whether you have been in that subject, in that field for 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25, until the time you are breathing, you will come across a piece of information which you will feel like, oh, I did miss this. I missed this. It did not come to me. Because that's the truth. It comes to us. We may be in search of it, but it's usually the other way around. If it wants to be found, then it shall be found. It is not going to be found because I wanted to find it. it is always going to be found because it wanted to get found. Yeah, ridiculous, isn't it? Escapism. No, it's not escapism. That's the reality of it. Yamaivaisha vrunute tena labhyah. Kathopanishad. Nayamatma pravachanena labhyah. Na medhaya, na bahuna shrutena. Yamevaisha vrunute tena labhyah. Okay, fine. Moving on. So he went to Ashokavanam. Finally, he enters the place. And he was mesmerized with the beauty of Ashokavana. He had not seen that kind of a jungle for a very long time. And he saw Sīta. And he identified that this must be Sīta. How was she? There's a beautiful description of Sīta. I mean, no other poet can even come close to what Valmiki has achieved in describing Sīta. Where should I start? I don't know where should I begin. Because there are so many lines that I want to quote about description of Sīta, because each and every line is worth gold. That's the level in which Valmiki describes her. Upavasa Krisham Deenam. Say this Krishata, zero figure, that how do I put it? Thin, then losing weight. Yes, sorry, not thin, not Krishata, forget about all those words. Losing weight can happen for plenty of reasons. And the loss of weight, for whatever reason has happened, the reason can also be found out. If you have a keen eye, if you have an eye for observation, you can identify why this person has lost weight. It is not always keto diet. Let me tell you that. A person can lose weight for plenty of reasons. Do you know when a person commits adharma, he loses weight? In a peculiar way. I'm not going to reveal much details about this, because these are some very important, like Shastra Marmas. A person, when he does commit a crime, when he does commit a sin, he appears to be Krisha in a peculiar way. He appears to have lost weight in a peculiar way. I'm going to end this line only here. Please don't ask any questions related to this. No questions will be entertained on this particular line. Sorry, because it's a Shastra Rahasyam. It should remain as a Rahasyam. It's unfortunate that I spoke out, but yes, you can identify that. All I'm trying to say here is, even the loss of weight needs to be analyzed in a very keen way, which we don't do. That's why the adjective Upavasa Krisham Deenam. She has lost weight, but her loss of weight is not due to viraha, but upavasa. Beautiful. I'm not going to go in detail about upavasa, the word upavasa. That is for another lecture. An entire lecture needs to be dedicated for the word upavasa and how upavasa and krishata are connected. Moving on. So that's why I told you each and every adjective that Valmiki uses must be weighed in gold. That's Valmiki for you. Okay. And then Upavasa Krisham Deenam, another beautiful analogy that Valmiki comes up with. Dadarsha Shukla Pakshadu Chandra Rekha Mivamalam. Shukla Paksha Chandra Rekha. Recently now it is Shukla Paksha now. Just watch how Chandrakala looks like in the sky, in the night sky. Very thin line of Chandra. That's how she appeared. And then Ashrupurna Mukhim Deenam Anashanena Krisham. Again, Anashanena. She has lost weight because she has not consumed any food. Anashanena Krisham. Another description. Shokadhyana Param. There was one more thing that this is the one. To all those artists, I was searching for this line. I finally found that line. I mean, right now, I have found this line long ago, but right now I was looking where is that located. I finally got my eyes there. Neela Naga Bhaya Venya Jaghanam Gatayaikaya. I will explain it because this needs to be told. I don't care whether other lines are told or not. This line needs to be told again and again and again. Sita was sitting and her Veni means braid, Jade, Veni, that is Ekaya, singular. So what does it mean? Veni, the word Veni itself refers to Ekaya, Venya refers to that she had tied her hair. Even during the distress. Oh, I am so stressed, that's why I keep my hair loose. Shoot yourself if you think so. Look at Sita. She went through so many things, so much of hardships. She never thought of letting her hair loose because she was in so much of stress. What stress? Fine, sorry. Sometimes I simply cannot control it. Ekaya Venya, and then where is this? Nila Nagabha. Now, these are the kinds of words that you will find generally used by the likes of Muthuswami Dikshidhar. Nila Nagabha. The word Naga here does not refer to snake. The word Naga here refers to elephant. Thickness. I don't know the other word. It should be Snigdha. Now, that's the proper word in Kannada or in Sanskrit. You find the alternative in English, or however you understand. So Nila Naga, Nila is black, Naga is elephant, a black elephant. It looked like a black elephant, which means it was Pogadastagittu anta. It was good, it was proper. Nila Naga Bhaya Venya, and that Veni, up until what organ, when she sat down, when she was sitting down, her Veni, her braid, touched her thighs, Jaghanam Gataya. The back part of thighs is called as Jaghana. Buttocks is called as Jaghana. Up until that part, her braid was touching. This is the description. Even during distress, she had her hair tied. Please note it down. Tarkayamasa Siteti. Now he arrived at the conclusion, this must be Sita. Yatharupa hidrishtasa, because I had seen her. Feeble way, in a very feeble way, very vaguely I had seen her before when she was being carried by Ravana. So this is the same lady, Purna Chandranam. This is where I want you to focus again. Her Ananam has not lost any glow. Purna Chandranana. But she appeared like Shukla Paksha Chandra Rekha. The contrast, the observation, no other poet can even match this. Not even Kalidasa, I must tell you. Not even Kalidasa. I mean, Kalidasa comes very close to this, but Valmiki is in a different league when it comes to describing Sita. Okay. She had a prabha, she had a glow about herself, and that used to eradicate the andhakaram, the darkness around her. I mean, none of us can understand this because we understand darkness through tube light. So for us, darkness is when we turn off light, tube light. That's when darkness, we realize, oh, this is dark. That's not how Hanuman understood it. Sorry. Tam Neelakanthim, Bimboshthim, Sumadhyaya. It goes on like this. Abalam, Mrigashavakshim, Prabham Nakshatra Rajasya, like that. Oh, this is beautiful. One last description I'm going to give, because as I told you earlier, it's very difficult to leave out. My heart pains when I'm leaving each and every line that Valmiki has written. I don't want to. But one last thing, he says that Amnayanam ayogena vidyam prashithilam. We have studied some vidya, we have mastered some art, some skill, some knowledge we have acquired, but that is Amnayanam ayogena. It is not Vedic. It is not Vedika in nature. It is not in synchronization with Veda. Any knowledge that is not in synchronization Veda is useless. That's how she appeared. She had gone, I mean, the Vidya that we acquire goes down. It doesn't become stronger and stronger each and every day as it passes. It gets weaker and weaker if it is not associated with Veda. Now you do a survey, all the people who have done degrees, you ask them, do they remember anything that they studied in their college life or student life? They would say no. They would have made a living out of the degree that they got, a BA, a BCom, a BSc, a BTech, a BE. They would have lived their entire life based on that particular degree. And you ask them a simple thing about that, they would say, no, we don't remember anything. Why? Because it is not in synchronization with Veda. If it was in sync with Veda, then it would have not gone thin as age goes on. It goes thinner and thinner each and every passing day because it is not synchronized with Veda. That's how she was getting thinner and thinner each and every day. That's the analogy that Valmiki uses. The insight this fellow has, the poet has. And then he says, samskarena yatha hinam vachamarthantarangatam. When the speech loses samskara, it gives different meanings. And you don't like that word anymore. It loses its charm. She had lost that charm, like how a word has lost its charm. Okay, fine. And it is here somewhere that he explains that Pratipat Pathashilasya Vidyeva Krishatangata. He uses this line as well. It's Valmiki's contribution. So this is the reason why even to this day, Shastras and Vedas are not taught during Pratipat, during the first tithi of every Paksha. It is called as Anadhyayanam. No Adhyayanam will be done on that day. Because he who studies, studying is okay, so Adhyaya is okay. He who teaches on Pratipat, his Vidya will become Krisha. Pratipat Pathashilasya Vidyeva Krishatangata Sīta. That's another beautiful description. I have to end because I know some people might feel I'm very sadistic because, you know, how can you so happily and so, you know, with a smile on your face describe Sita's hardship? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Evam Sītā tatha drishta. So he finally saw her. And then he says one line, Aishwaryam Vanaranancha Durlabham Vālī palitum asya nimitte Sugrīva praptavan loka Viśvāmitra. It is for her sake, it is for this woman's sake that Rama killed 14,000 Rakshasas in less than an hour. It is for the sake of this woman that Sugrīva got back his ancestral throne. It should not go in waste. None of their efforts shall go in vain. It says, Raghavo arhati vaidehi. Raghava is meant for Sita and Sita is meant for Raghava. There are some couples whom you look at them and then you feel like, you know, they are made for each other. And that's not a line that you write on every marriage board. They are not made for each other. It is, you know, forcefully made for each other. They were like, you know, meant for each other. Like, you know, and I'm just going to give you the reference. You please go through that. I'm not finding enough words. I'm being, you know, dragged down by the task ahead because I have to cover the story. But I want you to understand. Okay, fine. I will cover the story, maybe taking one extra lecture on my end, on my watch. But I have to tell you this: the power of woman. Okay. This is the power of woman. This is Sita Charitam for you. When Valmiki writes, this is Sita Charitam. Asya hetoho vishalakshyah. It is for this woman's sake that Vālī, the mighty Vālī, was punished. The mighty Vālī was killed. If it was not for Sita, then Vālī would have never been touched by Rama, isn't it? Who is the mastermind behind Vāli's killing? Who is the one who is actually making, you know, like all these things, you know, Vāli's killing? It is Sita. Viradhaha hataha. 14,000 men, Rakshasas were killed. Khara, Dushana, Trishiras were destroyed. And I crossed an entire ocean for her sake. Can you imagine the magnetic personality that Sīta had? I mean, did you get a gauge? Did you get an imagination of Sita's power? This is the power of a woman. This is the strength of a woman. She made Hanuman cross the ocean. Do you think Hanuman crossed the ocean just because he was capable enough to do it? It was Sita who did it. Hanuman himself has agreed. I am not saying this. I'm not speaking on behalf of Sita. It is Hanuman's own testimony. Sagarascha maya krantaha asya hetor vishalakshyah. Because of her, I crossed this ocean. And then he says one line, oh, I'm getting goosebumps. Yeah, it was a long time since I got this. Maybe back in the Bharata's episode, not again. Yes. Yadiramaha samudrantam medinim parivartayet. If Rama goes to the end of this world and flips this entire world over for her, he deserves to do that. Yeah. That's what Hanuman is saying. Asyah krite jagatchapi yuktamityeva me matihi. I think it is only proper if Rama goes to the ends of this world and flips it over in order to find her, because she deserves that. And Rama is correct in doing that if he goes to this level. And then he makes a comparative study by a researcher, a paper published by Hanuman, soon to be Dr. Hanuman. Look at the comparison here. Rajyam va trishu lokeshu. All the kingdoms of 3 realms of this universe, you bring them together, place it on one side. Sītā va janakatmaja. You place Sīta on the other hand. Trailokya rajyam sakalam, the entire universe. Sītāyaha napnuyat kalam. They are not even equivalent to Sita's one small kala, one small iota of Sita. That's how he has weighed Sita. This is the vision of a man. So you remember all these words, you remember all these things when Hanuman speaks with Sita. What kind of a man deserves to speak, to have a conversation, to have an audience with Sita? You think Sita was a weak person? No, she was not. She was a very strong woman. And she was an epitome of courage and strength. And only Hanuman deserved, he earned the rights to speak with her. Nobody else ever spoke to her. 3 people must have spoken, apart from the ladies. Kausalya has spoken, Sumitra has spoken, Kaikeyi has spoken, Vasishtha has, Sumantra has, and then not even Guha was able to speak with Sita. Yeah, not even Sugrīva, for God's sakes. Hanuman spoke with her. Lakshmana has spoken. Not even Bharata. Can you imagine? Bharata was not able to speak with her. Not Shatrughna. The level that woman maintained. I don't know if you can, if I am able to articulate that sense that Sita had, that Gambhiryam that Sita had. That's the word. I'm not finding the exact word in English for Gambhiryam. I don't think anybody can find the kind of Gambhiryam that I'm trying to articulate that Sita possessed. It's very easy for us to go and speak to anyone, isn't it? We approach anybody and start speaking to her, speaking to them. I don't know if you have come across any such women in your life, but I have. I touch my heart and I tell you, I have come across such a woman where you would not feel like opening your mouth. You would not even feel like talking to them. Like, not because you don't want to, because you don't deserve to talk to them. You don't stand a chance in front of them to open your mouth. That was Sita. He goes on. Dushkaram kurute Ramo hino yadanaya Prabhu. He says that, she had no ornament. She was not wearing any ornament at that time. Wrong. Sita was wearing an ornament. Yeah, this is the line. Naisha pashyati rakshasyo neman pushpa phaladruman. She's not paying attention to the guards that Ramana has put in place. She's not paying attention to the fruits, the flowers, the aesthetics of the jungle. No, she's not paying attention to them. Ekastha hridaya nunam. She has her heart set onto only one thing, Rama. Rama was Sita's eternal ornament. That's the statement. That's the line. And now this is the gold standard. And when you have this kind of a standard, and then you look at this line that I'm going to say, and tell me if you find it a bit difficult to accept it. Bharta nama param narya shobhanam bhushanadapi. A bharta, that is a husband, is a wife's greatest ever ornament in comparison to all other things that she has. Husband is wife's greatest ever ornament. That's the kind of line that Valmiki can come up. And when you have understood the depth, the intensity of all these things, of the stature of Sita, then this line, and we can all agree that this line is not applicable to us, because we are not at that par, at that level. And if this is Sita, then imagine how Rama was. Okay. And then he was waiting for the night to fall. Hanuman was waiting for the night to fall so that all the guards were lesser in number, so they must involve themselves in other activities, and then he may find a suitable time to approach her and speak to her. He has not yet made his mind, has not even made up his mind, but he wants to talk to her. He's yet to go through another dilemma, the classic dilemma. Now, Valmiki is such a good artist, I tell you. Now he has elevated you to this level, isn't it? You are like, you are floating somewhere, and in comes Ravana. A twist. Ravana appears along with his men accompanying him. And he was like, madamatta. He was high, and he was not, he was not even able to look at somebody. His eyes were like this, fluttering. Valmiki describes that. He approaches Sita, and there is one thing. When it is peak winter, and when the wind blows in a winter, have you seen how the banana leaf withers? Oh, you should observe that. That's how you become close to nature. That's when you will understand how Sita was withering when Ravana approached. When Ravana came to her and started speaking, it was like that. She started to wither like a banana leaf during winter. So she covered herself as much as she can. And I don't want to go into all these details. Then he started offering her that you should, I have these many things, I am so rich that this, that's all ridiculous. I don't want to go into those details. That's the part where you actually can feel the pain that Sita had to go through. This was day-to-day routine. It was not just one day. It used to happen every day to Sita. What will you do with Rama? He's not going to come here to save you. So I've given you 1 year's time. So why don't you accept me as your husband? And all these things. Each and every time, this woman who had the capacity to turn off the burning nature of the fire itself. She said, fire ka bhi maa thi hai. And she was like the mother of fire, not mother of dragons. Mother of dragons is nothing in front of Sita. She was mother of fire. And when Hanuman's tail was lit, do you know why that fire was not burning Hanuman? Burning is fire's nature. It burns everything that it touches. But still, the fire did not burn Hanuman's tail. It was not because of Hanuman's courage or power or anything. It was Sita's power. Sita makes an oath at that time. I'm going to tell you at that time. I mean, in that episode, I will tell you the bold claim that she makes. If I have ever stayed truthful to my husband, Shito bhava Hanumataha, then may you not burn Hanuman's tail. The fire god Agni was like, Adiyen, appane, agbodu. She had the gods under her control. And if she had wished, she could have burnt Ravana at any given point of time. But she did not. Each and every day, she went through the torture, that resilience. And you show a tinge of that resilience in us today. Zero. That was Sita. And it is people like us who judge Sita, who judge the character of Rama. I mean, we are not even on the same page, bro. How can we judge them? They're not even on the same level. It's like a mosquito trying to judge or pass judgment on Garuda's flying. I think you could have done a better job. The mosquito, passing in comments, on Facebook, typing. I think Garuda could have done a better job. That's how we look when we talk about Sita and Rama. Okay, yeah, I think it's almost time. This was not more like less narration and more blabbering, I guess. I'm very sorry for that. Sometimes these things just they take control of myself. And what a lady Sita was. What else can I say? And now go try and listen to Tyagarajar's Sītamma Mayamma. When he calls such a woman as Sītamma, you get that feeling, isn't it? You want your mother to be that resilient. You want to see that courage, because it's the mother who gives this courage. It's the mother who passes on this courage to her children, and only mother can do that. And yet, if the females of today's world, if they ask, why so much of discrimination again, where is the discrimination? You are placed there. You are like, equated to the likes of Sita. But no, you want to be judged like a mosquito. You are welcome. If you want to be like a mosquito, please, you are welcome to be like a mosquito. Don't let yourselves down. Don't lower your bar. You are set apart. You are set such a high bar. You are Sītamma. For that sake. All right. I think we can stop here. I know I'm lagging behind a lot of story, but this is a very crucial part. And there are some things that need to be told, that need to be said out loud in the public. The image, the narrative needs to change about Sita. Enough about being depicted, Sita being depicted as a weak person in each and every serial or anything. And there are some people who want to showcase her or depict her as if she was a warrior princess. Neither of them makes any sense, to be honest, because the version that Valmiki has provided to us is more than sufficient. I mean, we cannot digest it. Seriously, we cannot digest it. I have skipped so many things. I feel very bad because I have missed so much of worthy things to share. It's not easy to miss those things. Sita is like, what can I say? You have to view Sita in Valmiki's eye. Then you will understand what a great woman she was. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask. It's exactly 9. So I don't want to take extra time. If you have any questions, please do ask. It need not be only a question. If you have any observation, that also you can make. Any comments you can make. I'm not a Garuda. I am a fly. I am a mosquito only. So you can definitely judge me. Very emotional lecture, made us feel that we got some goosebumps too. Thank you. See, Sita, it's all Sītā-Mahatmyam, no, not mine. And this particular episode, especially where Hanuman tries to talk with Sita, holds a very special place in my heart, in my life. It was the turning point of my life. That particular episode made me look towards Ramayana. That's where my journey began of Ramayana. Because when I read this episode for the first time, I am being very honest with you. I don't know whether this is the correct stage to share all these things or not, but I am. Maybe they can edit it later. They can remove all these things and unwanted things. But maybe for you people, I'm telling this. For the first time when I read this, I remember the date, time, place, everything. It's like, picturesque in my head. I could not read further. I stopped there. I contemplated on it for at least half an hour. The only question was that was running in my mind was, there are some etiquettes, some manners that men are taught, the boys are taught when you are asked to talk to a woman, how to talk to a woman. Some few things are taught. Whether it is an elderly woman or if that lady is of your same age, they do teach few things. But that teaching is missing. There must be, who should be our role model in order to speak with a woman? Hanuman. He spoke with, and not even an inch of his mind was going either or elsewhere. He was not distracted for even a second, even a microsecond. He was not distracted. It was not as if he was ogling her. He was staring at her. No, he was not. Now, can you imagine, throughout that conversation, never once Sita felt uncomfortable. Whom will you take here as, whom will you take as a role model here? Sita or Hanuman? The way he held himself after all the, adrenaline rush that he had. He simply crossed an entire ocean. Just imagine his heartbeat. Just imagine the rush that he has. And he had that control over himself. When will we have that kind of control over ourselves? And this is the reason when we find, even if Sita appears in front of us, we will never be able to speak to her. We do not deserve to look at Sita. We do not, because we don't have that much of capacity. Isn't this the reason why Rama chose Hanuman? That you are the one who is going to speak to Sita. And that shows his insightfulness about a person. I mean, उसकी तो बात ही क्या करना है, राम की बात ही क्या करना है. He's in a different level. Is it a way of depicting Prakriti Tattva when Valmiki compares Sita with some occurrences in nature? Yeah, it is. It is okay. It's very, very, rudimentary level of understanding of Sita. Yeah, Sita is beyond that. Yeah, Sita is somewhere else. I never thought that I would be able to talk about Sīta like this so passionately. I mean, my most favorite characters are Bharata and Tara. I'm not arguing against it. Nobody can occupy the space that Bharata has in my heart. But today, all thanks to you people, Sīta has notched up a level. I never thought about myself that I would be able to talk about Sīta this much. It has actually made me emotional. I've never felt like this. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. Color complexion of Sīta. Purna Chandra Nibhanana. It doesn't mean like paint her with white color. That's not Purna Chandra Nibhanana. The moon, the color of moon changes every month. Have you observed this? I don't know if you have observed this or not, but there is slight change of color of moon every month. So take, for example, Sharadindu Nibhanana, which means, Sharad Kalam, Sharad Rutu. In Sharad Rutu, moon appears to be brighter. So that was her complexion. If it is not too late, can you please tell that Kathopanishad line and also meaning? Nayamatma pravachanena labhyaha, which means, this Atman is not, it is not possible to find the Atman through pravachanas, through discourses. Na medhaya, not with our intellect, not with thinking. Na bahuna shrutena, not by reading or listening to various discourses. Then how is it possible? Yamevaisha vrunate tena labhyaha. Yam purusham. The adhikari is chosen by the Parabrahma itself. When the Parabrahma chooses, when Parabrahma chooses that this is the right moment, this is the right jiva to acclimatize, to get into myself, that's when tena labhyaha. That's when we get to know, we feel that, I have sakshatkar, you have nothing. It's all that. This is the concept of anugraha. This is what anugraha means.
Sir, then is it really possible?
You don't have to call me sir. Most of them don't know. We are childhood friends, actually. You don't have to call me sir. He is my childhood friend.
Then is it really possible in this lifetime to attain that Parabrahma?
That's another question. Like it may not be possible in this lifetime. Like it takes several lifetimes. That is the reason why we need a guru who knows not only this janma, but who knows janmantras as well, the past ones, the future ones, everything. Being a guru is a very difficult job. You simply cannot claim I am Sadguru, I am Jagat Guru, that Guru, this Guru. It's not a title that anybody can claim. It is a huge responsibility. So when we are under the aegis of a guru, then all these things will be taken care of. And no matter how many janmas it will take, a guru will take us towards that destination. So that's what, I mean, I know it is, it's easy to speak than actually feel it. But there is no other way to say this. This is the hard pill that we have to take. Without guru, it is not possible, not at all possible. And any person who talks about all these things is not a guru. A guru will find us one day.
Yeah, there is just one line that came to me just now. This is from Mankutimana Kagga.
Yes.
Right, where DVG says, Vishwanu bhavave Vishwatmanu bhavake pata.
Yeah.
So that is somewhere, it is consoling me, telling that we have to undergo this to attain him.
Yes, absolutely.
Otherwise, may not be possible.
Yes, very true, very true. We realize how helpless we are, how minute we are when we look into these magnanimous things, and yet we fight amongst ourselves for so many things. So it's laughable, actually.
If it is really possible, if there is one session that you can take on Kathopanishad, maybe after this.
Absolutely. Actually, no,
That would be,
I'm designing a course for
very great.
Kathopanishad. I'm designing a course for Kathopanishad very soon. I will let you know. I'm in progress. I'm doing that work. So I love Kathopanishad. So yeah, I will update that. It's a wonderful text to read.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, there are some questions here. Comparing this with, I think I missed Saraswati ji's question here. Comparing this with how Sugrīva had forgotten his promise to Rama after becoming king and enjoying those pleasures. Sorry. Sorry, I did not get the context here.
It mentions that Hanuman did not get.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. No, you were mentioning that.
Oh, sorry, we lost you again.
No, is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you had mentioned that Hanuman did not get distracted anywhere in spite of that. So I was just reminded of what you had mentioned earlier when Sugrīva had forgotten his promise and had to be reminded gently.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
That was the context.
Yeah, got it. Yeah. Any specific reason why Sīta was kept in Ashokavana? Oh yes, there is. It's a very, very good question. It is. Ravana's idea was, since she had stayed in forest for so long, so she is accustomed to some forest culture. So if she stays in that forest culture, maybe she can have a change of heart. He was such a crooked fellow, Ravana. He wanted Sita badly. But somewhat some moral compass was there that was preventing him from forcing himself on her. And the intellectuals these days, the so-called intellectuals, they use this particular incident or this particular area of Ravana's character to sympathize with him. There is no room for sympathy here. He was scared to touch her, to be honest. He somehow survived when he held her and brought her to Lanka. But after that, he could not muster the courage to even go near her. She never talked to Ravana face to face. Sita never talked to her. Trinamantaratah kritva, Valmiki right said. Trinamantaratah kritva. She used to take a grass. She used to keep it in between Ravana and herself. And then she used to talk to the Trinam. Like, you are nothing but a grass. You don't even deserve to be a grass. That's how she approached Ravana. So yeah, the reason was to change her mind. So he thought that, it would change her mind. That's why it is named as Ashokavana, where there is no room for shoka, where there is no room for grief. That's why he deliberately kept her there, so that her grief of losing Rama may get over soon and she may have a change of heart and come to him. Very crooked fellow. Okay. Why Muhurta is mentioned when Hanuman did Dhyanam? It is just a time. Muhurtamiva Dhyatva. It's like, for a while. In English we use, for a while he meditated. That's all. Muhurtam here refers to Kshanam, for a while. It's just there to use, refer to time. That's all. Yes, definitely. When the Kathopanishad course is ready, I will let you all know. And I was going to ask that question too. How did he not force himself on her? Yeah, this was the reason. Bhav nahi deti thi wo. That's the actual line. Okay, I have taken 14 minutes extra.
Sir,
yeah.
So one question from the previous class.
Yes.
You mentioned about temple architecture and temples, how they're built. I have a couple of requests. Can you give some good examples of temples in and around Bangalore which we should experience the way they were designed, you're explaining? Number one. Number two, what should be the process which we should go through? What actions and what outcome we should expect when we visit those temples?
Yes, definitely. I would love to. I am not the expert in that area, but I will bring the expert. I know the expert who deserve to talk about these things. And I am like, just I know these things, that's all. But I'm being very honest that there are people whom we should really listen to. They are not architects, they are not archaeologists, they are nothing, but they know temple architecture better than anyone else. I will try to contact them, and we will definitely go and see a temple, and we will see how a temple needs to be visited, how actually that darshanam needs to happen. See, we use all these beautiful words that arati, when the arati is done, we all do like this, and we close our eyes. That is our foolishness. See, then and there, that Mangalarati is going on, and we are like, we are closing. What is the purpose of closing eyes at that time? we are supposed to see that Jyoti, and through that Jyoti, the deity should appear in that Jyoti. We don't have that Jyoti darshanam at all. There are so many things that we do, and when we take that tirtham, when we take that prasadam, in what mind are we taking that tirtham and prasadam? Some people go to temple only to consume prasadam. There are such people as well. Anyway, Dhanurmasam is coming. There are a set of people who wake up early in the morning, take a shower, and they go to certain temples because at this temple, HSR layout, 4th phase, this temple, they make good prasadam. They go there. In Jainagar 4th block, they make some good prasadam at that time. They go. There are some people like this. What can we do? And that needs to change. It's a very wonderful request, sir. I will definitely keep that in mind, and we will, with the help of Nirakula, we will arrange something, and we will definitely go to a temple. We need to go to a temple. Oh, Antaranga Darshanam, seeing image of God, not image, yaar, no imaging. That is for the meditation instructors. Close your eyes, observe your breathing. Now you see this image. You don't see anything. The Antaranga Darshanam takes time. It takes sadhanam. I don't know how it happens because I don't have one yet. So it happens. Those who have experienced, they say that my guru was once asked by a person that they say that this Paramatma, this Paranjyoti is Koti Surya Prakasha. Is it true? My guru's response was, not Koti Prakasha, pa, he is Koti Prakasha. Only he can speak like that because he has seen that. I have not seen him. He says, what is that? Vakradunda Mahakaya, Koti Surya Samaprabha. What Koti Surya Samaprabha? We can't even see one Surya with our naked eye. And we are saying that this Ganesha that we are worshipping is Koti Surya Prabha, Koti Surya Samaprabha. See our understanding, our level of understanding. Mosquitoes, Garuda. That's the antaram. In context to Srinivasa Kalyana, they say Sita was sent with Agni, and instead of her, Vaidehi was sent as Sita with Rama. Oh, no. These are some, twists and turns that have happened in the narration, in the narratives. Harikatha people have contributed a lot to this this kind of parampara. Their contribution is immense. Endaro Mahanubhavalu, Andariku Vandanamulu. They have taken away the gist of so many important things away from the original epic. I mean, they must have done it for a good job, for a good thing, but again, it has harmed the charm of the original thing. But this kind of things, they don't appear in Valmiki's Ramayana. Sita was sent with Agni is not there. She went through Agni and she came back unhurt. And afterwards, she went down to Prithvi. That's in Ramayana. That's in Valmiki's version. That shows the circle of life, isn't it? She came from the Bhumi and she went in the Bhumi. Okay, I think we can end the session here today. Thank you very much for your wonderful cooperation. I thoroughly enjoyed. I will earmark this date. This was time, date, when you... that's not relevant here. That's not relevant. Thank you very much for your wonderful cooperation. It was a wonderful day. I'm going to mark this date. You remember this date, Sri Rama. You remember this date.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste, sir.